You know I like fashion. This is the art of combining eye-catching colors, comfortable fabrics, and trendy style into striking outfits. Our next guest has a particular knack for this. He is none other than Zen Romney, local fashion aficionado. He designs everything from carnival costumes to pageant costumes and even creative wear, and was part of the design team for this year's Independence Decoration at the government headquarters. Yes. So good morning, Zen, and welcome to Good Morning SKN.
Good morning to you guys as well. Thank you for having me here.
It's our pleasure indeed. So the big question, why fashion?
I think it's something that I've always wanted to do, and seeing all the different designs and style when I go out, it's kind of intrigued to be like wondering how did they get to do that? What work is being done to get it the way it is. So I started doing my researches and stuff like that, and eventually I take step by step working on different pieces until I can eventually get in the groove of doing exactly what needs to be done.
Okay, so you're not trained just yet. The New York Fashion Institute hasn't been graced by your presence just yet.
No.
Okay, so soon.
Soon.
Oh, good stuff. Good
All right,
stuff.
so since we're just celebrating our 39th year of independence, obviously you're part of that design team that was responsible for decorating government headquarters.
Yes.
Walk us through that process, collaborating with other people. How much of that was your work, your guidance, that sort of thing?
When it comes to decorating, I usually try to get help because there's no way one person can do all the work when it comes to decorating for buildings and stuff like that. It was pretty hectic because we had like a whole morning not being sure of how exactly we're gonna get stuff onto the walls and stuff like that. And it was later in the afternoon. We were like starting getting ideas of drilling screws and stuff like that. So it's very important to have someone with you because honestly, I had already given up. I was like, I don't want to do this again. Yeah, and then my friend was like, you know what? We'll get through. And then Ambassador Hazard was like, we can get through. We'll get through it. And eventually we did. Yeah. So it's good to have someone not only to help you, but for emotional support as well. Right.
When you go into big projects like these, do you have like a game plan? I know you said for this one you didn't really have a game plan because you mentioned screws.
Yes.
So you have to design someplace. How do you preserve it without causing much damage to it?
Usually, the best way to go is using tapes and stuff like that that could easily be removed. Okay. But it is best to get permission to use items that will damage the building. Right.
All right, so let's talk again about fashion because obviously I pivoted to what we came to know you for, particularly when I drove by government headquarters because I knew it was your work. I was like, I wanted to see it, and I was very impressed by it. All right, so we're going back to fashion for a moment. The moment when it clicked for you, this is what I want to do.
When I was in high school, I was a part of this clothing and textile class, and I actually was supposed to be doing home ec, but I didn't want to do that. So then they had a teacher introduce me to clothing and textile. I was like, you know what? This is the best way to go because it's something I always wanted to do. So this would be better for me. It helps me to prepare myself for the industry.
Okay, great.
Who were some of your inspirations since we're speaking of that?
There are designers such as Alejandro and Raul Pamanan. These are designers from Trinidad.
I figured.
And I usually look at their work a lot, and I would see myself like creating pieces like that they have done before.
So why not international designers? Why did you stay in the Caribbean?
I like international designers as well, but I think that Our Caribbean designers produce something that international designers would not produce. And I've seen costumes and different pieces that designers in the US have done before. And when I look at it, I can tell that it's made differently. Like the process of it being done is done differently to what the Caribbean designers would do. Yeah.
All right. So, in terms of your own design, obviously you take influences from other people, but when it comes to putting your stamp on a design, what is that like for you? How easy or difficult is it for you to do? What are the considerations that go into that?
Depending on what I am doing, I try my very best to make my client very happy. So I would go all the way out. I would prep, sketch, do all the different things that I need to do. Sometimes they would give me a design, but I would still add my own style to it, which makes them really happy because, sometimes they're like, I would have never thought of that.
Yes, indeed.
So I really help them, and we're basically helping each other. They give me a design, I add my own flair to it, and give them something special.
Right.
So if I see a designer there, what will make me say this is Zen?
The cleanness of the work.
Ooh.
Yes,
Ah.
I like to make sure that when my work is done, it looks very clean, very seamless.
Okay. Good stuff.
Cleanness of the work. That's
Yes.
good to know. All right. So, Cortenza kind of alluded to it, but I want to know from your perspective. You're doing this now. If I had to ask you for a 10-year picture, down the road, what you would like to do, that aspiration in this field, what would that look like?
Repeat that again.
Your aspirations, 10 years from now, Zen, what would you be doing? What do you see yourself doing?
Traveling to design all over the world and doing that only.
Oh,
Yes.
so he's sticking to it. He's not changing.
Yes, I want to do it every day of my life.
All right. Give me some names of people that you've designed for in terms of carnival costumes, etc.
So some of the people that I've designed for, I've designed for most contestants in pageants, and some of them are hash or permanent. I don't know if you remember the sugarcane costume. Yes, I did that. I did costumes for a past participant, which is Zonique Brown. I've done costumes for different schools for the talented teen competitions. I've done costume for the labor pageant as well, which is my most recent costume. And there are many other designers that I've done, other work that I've done for people throughout the Caribbean.
Right, because you're regional as well. Which
Yes.
is good to know. All right. Also, we have some of your work to react to
Oh,
right
look
now.
at that. That's
Can you-
harsher. Oh,
Yes.
did you work on this alone or did you have help?
I had help,
Okay.
a lot of help.
Okay.
Because during that time, usually when it gets closer to Carnival, I get more and more busy. So sometimes I have to work on costumes. I work with mass bands as well. So, I have to make costumes for mass bands, and then I still have to do my own individual work. I'm a dancer as well, so I have rehearsals for Soca Manak and the upcoming shows and stuff like that. So usually I would let my friends work for me while I go do these other jobs and then come back and do my part.
Oh, oh, look at this one. Whose is this?
This was from the Miss Labor pageant.
This is nice. I like the light show.
What's the concept here? What were we going for?
The concept was Queen of the Ocean. So we had this were made from shells and all these other stuff that are in the sea, corals. And I really, really enjoy doing creative pieces because it's amazing to see in the ending what I've done with the different items that I found throughout the island. Yeah, so this was one of my pieces, one of my favorite actually.
Okay.
The headpiece is made of coral, and I don't know if you know of the little straw thingy from the coconut trees, the
Yes.
leaf. So
Yes.
I would strip all the green leaf
Yeah.
and
Just
use the
use the
bone
broom.
pad. I think they
Yes.
use it to make kites as
Brooms.
well.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
you put it in the cardio punch and you make. Yeah.
Yeah, so I use that and I glitter the whole thing with glitter so
That's what
it
I'm saying.
doesn't look.
It doesn't look like the normal thing.
Yes.
Nice.
And then I add paper to the ending of it. But I cut it in the shape of a feather, so when you see it, you would think that it's a feather, but it's really a paper. Right. So, and then the bodice of the wear is made from shells, different shape, different sizes. And then at the bottom, you could see like the ocean waves.
Yeah.
That was done with paper.
Ah.
So I fold the paper like the way we would in school with like a fan.
Yes.
And then I would join them together to create that piece.
Nice.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
How long did that piece take you?
It took me like a week.
And this is your work alone, or you had help?
This is
your
me
friends?
working on this alone.
Oh,
Yes.
nice.
It's impressive, Zen.
Yes.
Impressive.
I love the light show. Wow.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about, I think we have time for it, yes. I wanted to ask you about the concept of Harsha's costume as well.
That was challenging as well. At first, when I got the job, I was actually to come up with a sketch and what's that. So I didn't know what to do at all. I didn't know what to do. They told me that they wanted it to depict the sugar factory, the sugar industry. So I was like, okay, give me some time. I was being bad at that point because I was supposed to give up a sketch like a week ago.
Oh, wow.
And it took me like 2 weeks to get it done. So I was behind time.
Yeah.
So usually I would wait until the evening to do sketches because that's when the place is much cooler and more calmer and it kind of eases my mind more. So I get to think even more. So I came up with the idea to have like the sugar canes blooming out from the back, and I did some research on the sugar factory and how the stuff were built, what they do, like joining the different parts, similar to how they build ships.
Okay.
Yes. And then I started creating these little small, I wish I had intricate pieces to show you guys, to see it close up and how they were actually made. And I had like the train and the pangs with the sugar cane in it. Close on her arms, you could see like she had some stuff there. It was actually the windmill and stuff like that. And they were we bought battery packs to actually have them moving throughout the performance.
Wow, that's a
Yeah.
lot.
I did have some mishaps with this as well because while I was doing the costume, I realized it was getting really heavy doing the framework of it. And I couldn't change the framework after. So it was a bit heavy to carry on
She
the
carried
evening.
it well.
Yes, she did. She did. And I commend on that because it was really, really heavy. But now I know what wire to use,
Okay.
And that's another thing. I have a friend in Guyana. He's a designer. So he told me where I went wrong and what I should have used, and I could have come to him for help.
Okay.
And we learn as we go. And that's another thing that I think we should be open to getting help and not being afraid. If it's not first, then it's not going to be first. We're not going to win.
I have
It's
to
better-
mention here that I love the way that you're saying that because
Yes.
it fits into our theme of redesigning.
Yes.
So you're looking at your work and you're
Yes.
saying, I know where I went wrong and I could do better next time around. Very quickly, Zen, because I'm pretty sure people are looking right now and they're saying, you know what, I might give Zen a job or two. I want to find out how to set Zen up and so on. That's your camera. Tell people how to get in contact with you.
So feel free to follow me, guys, and book me to create your pieces. I can assure you that you'll get brilliant, well-done pieces. You could follow my Instagram at KingsandBacchanalis. Or you can follow my pages, Zerd Official, which is my fashion designing page, or Zen Events, which is my decorating page. So I have two pages, one for decorating and one for fashion. Or you can also contact me by my cell number, which is 763-5671.